Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I'm your host, Kyle David. If you didn't know, now you know. Hey, welcome back. It's not been very long. But I want to talk about something I was chatting with somebody yesterday on a call about, and I've thought about it a lot, like especially in the past 6 to 12 months for myself. And I'm curious if you probably think about the same thing too. And it's about this is my thought is that we need to be careful of not taking the advice of other people, right? And that might not like that, right? That might sound counterintuitive of like what I thought we should seek out advice from other people. So let's unpack this. I do think it's wise to seek counsel from other people to get external advice and input on your situation. But at the end of the day, like you should learn to not take advice from the majority of people if it doesn't align with where you're headed, what you want, and ultimately like the life that you're trying to create. Right? A lot of people have a lot of opinions on a lot of things, right? And so you have to be the one to determine what advice you take and what advice you don't listen to. And I think I was talking. This all started because I was talking to a guy yesterday on a call who asked me if I would hop on a call with him. He asked me if I would give him some advice and if he could ask me some questions. And he was like, "Look, man, I'm 23. I want to get into sales. I want to make a lot of money. I want to do these things. But people are telling me X, Y, Z. Right? People told me I'm too short to be in sales. People told me I can't do this. I can't do that." And I'm like, I said, "Look, man, at the end of the day," I said, "First of all, do you believe that? Do you believe the things that people are telling you that you can't do?" And he was like, "Well, no." And I was like, "Exactly. Here's the thing for you and I and for everyone. You have to be able to not take the advice of most people, right? I think it's wise to seek input and counsel, but I think most people are giving you advice that's not the best advice for you, right? I think most people are trying to tell you what they would do. They're trying to tell you what's the safest thing to do, right? They're trying to tell you things from their perspective, but they don't have all the context on you, what you want, what's deep inside of you, what the vision or the dream is inside of you. And most people are not going to give good advice. Like I just really believe that. I believe that most people have good intentions and bad advice. And it's tough in life to filter advice because most of the people you're getting advice from are probably friends and family that you love and respect and admire and don't want to let down, right? Uh, I am in the same boat, right? I have people in my life that I love and respect that give me advice, and I have to not listen to their advice a lot, right? A lot, because again, like people giving me advice are telling me what they would do, but they don't have the same vision or goals or dreams that I do, right? So even though they have good intent, they don't have the same vision that I do. Therefore, the decisions that they would make are not the decisions that I would make, because the decisions they would make are leading them to their vision and their dreams, not mine. So I have to be wise enough, and right, we can get plenty of advice and wisdom externally on a lot of things, but when it comes to the life that you want and the life you're trying to build, most people around you aren't going to give you good advice. And it's not because they're bad people. It's not because they don't love you. It's because they're thinking through a different lens and a different perspective, and their vision for their life is not your vision for your life. So therefore, they're going to tell you what they would do to lead them to their vision, but they're trying to apply it to your vision. So you have to realize that's what people are doing. They're trying to give you advice that they would take for themselves to get to their vision, right? They're not giving you advice from your perspective about your vision. They're giving them advice from their perspective about their vision. And that's been a big unlock for me over the past probably 12 months. because I, in the past, would blindly listen to a few people in my life that I actually really love, admire, and respect, and I think are very wise. But I realized after talking to people in my life for years about my dreams and my vision, I realized they don't get it. They don't understand my vision. Therefore, they're coming at it from a completely different perspective, and they're giving me advice that I was like, this advice to me doesn't feel like what I want or what I would do. And I always wondered, why does this person or these people who love me, why is the advice they're giving me, why does it not sit well with me? Why do I disagree with it? And why do I continue to get frustrated when I seek advice from certain people, and then they give me advice that I don't agree with, that I don't think is the right advice for what my vision is? Why is that happening? Why am I frustrated? I love these people. I trust these people. What's the friction point? What am I running into? And I realized that it's just that they just don't understand or see my vision, which 99% of people, they can't understand or see your vision uh, in the early stages of it, because it's in your head, and they can't get in your head. They can't see inside your mind, inside your vision, as much as you try to bring them into it. And God has given everyone a different purpose, a different calling, a different vision. And so they're doing the best to tell you what they would do, but a lot of times it feels frictional because you're like, that doesn't feel right. Like, I don't think that's right. And you're probably right. Right? So I've realized that I actually need to seek some wisdom and counsel from other people, but I have to ultimately be like, is that advice that I think is going to be the best for my vision? And I have to make the decision to take the advice or not. Right? Like, so people are going to, again, people are going to come at it from their perspective of what they would do. And the thing about advice is there is no one size fits all, right? Like, someone can tell you, oh, this is what you should do. Again, that's very generic advice most of the time. That's what they would do, right? Again, they have different perspectives and priorities. So right, think about this, right? People you're getting advice from were raised in a different situation than you, in a different generation than you, potentially, in different situations where they didn't have the same context or circumstances that you do. So they're not able to give you advice from the same perspective that you have, because they just didn't live it, right? Again, they're not bad, but they just don't have the same perspective and vision and context as you do. Um, and a lot of times I've learned this. A lot of times people will give you advice because they love you, and they will give you advice that they think is best for you, right? Quote unquote, best for you. But a lot of times it's not good advice because it's like very risk averse. It's like, hey, this is the safest thing to do. This is the most risk averse thing to do, right? Like, they're trying to tell you what to do based on what they think is safest for you, because they're also trying to protect the risk you take because they love you, and they don't want you to take risk because you taking a risk is a risk to them uh, in their relationship with you. So think about this, right? Like a parent, right? A parent who loves their child, a certain parent may tell their kids, like, hey, you shouldn't play sports, you shouldn't play football because it's risky and you could get injured, right? And so, again, that may be advice they believe is the best for you, but it may not be the best for you. You may be destined to be an NFL star. And if you listen to that advice, even from your own parent, because they're trying to tell you what is the safest and the most risk averse, but the safest and the most risk averse thing may not be the best thing for your life and your vision. And so I say all this to say you have to be willing to block out and ignore, respectfully, ignore advice from people that are close to you that love you, right? Like your people in your life, your parents, your friends you might be in a stage of life where the vision you have is so grand, and it might take some financial risk, and you spending money you may not have, or really going into debt or doing something risky to get to where you want to go, right? The most successful people in the world have had to take massive risks, financially included, right? People build businesses, they go all in, and sometimes it fails and it doesn't work, right? But you will get advice from the people around you, the people that love you, that will tell you, you need to not take that risk. Don't overextend yourself. Save your money. Be wise with your money, right? Be wise with your money. Save it. Don't spend it. Don't overextend yourself. And although that may be good advice in certain situations, again, that's very blanket advice. One size does not fit all. If it doesn't align with what you know downside, like, no, I need to take a risk. I need to put all my chips on the table. I need to overextend myself because this is my vision. You might have to not listen to the people closest to you that love you, that are telling you like what sounds like good advice, which is like, don't overextend yourself, don't take too much risk. But that may not be the best advice for you based on your vision and where you want to go. The biggest rewards come on the back of the biggest risks, right? So people are going to give you advice that they think is the best and safest for you based on what they want for you, not necessarily what you want for you. They might not want you to go bankrupt or go broke or have your business fail, rightfully so, because they love you. But that might be the thing that you need. You might need that failed business and that bankruptcy to start the next thing that makes you the generational wealth. You might need that, right? So I say all that to say, like, it's hard though. Like this guy I was talking to yesterday, he's like, man, it's so hard. It's so hard to not take the advice of people that are close to you, that love you, that you love, right? And for you to respectfully not take their advice can cause friction in a relationship. But you only get one life, and you can't hold back from what you feel and what you know inside, the vision that you have. You can't hold back from it just to appease and please the people around you, even the closest people to you, your friends, your family. You might have to tell them, no, I'm not going to do that, and then show them, right? No one can argue with results, right? They may be frustrated in the moment, they may not like you in the moment, but go and show them. Do the things that you know you need to do to get to where you want to go. And the end result will show them that you made the right decision. But you cannot do that for them. You have to do it for you. You have to take your own advice over everyone else's, because only you know the vision that you have inside of you. And again, like I said, I'm not saying don't seek counsel and wisdom and input. I'm saying seek it, but when something feels frictional and you're like, I don't agree with that, I don't think that's right for me, respectfully don't take the advice. You have in your gut, you know what you want, you know your dreams, you know your vision better than anyone, and only you can be the ultimate decision maker of your choices and the advice that you take and the decisions you make. You can't leave it up to other people. You can't try to please other people in all your decisions, because you'll never please them. And if you try to, not only will you not please them, you won't always be able to please them. You won't achieve what you're looking to achieve, and in the end, you will be resentful and you will regret it. You will resent and regret people pleasing in your decision making and not going after what you know you need to do. And I know it's hard. Again, I know it's hard. I know it's frictional to not take the advice of the people closest to you. But if you know that's not what I should do and I don't agree with that, you have to not do it. You have to stick to your guns and say, I'm going to make the decisions that I believe are best for me. And maybe they're not the right decisions, but you have to fall on your own sword and be accountable and be the one that ultimately makes the decisions for your life, because no one else has to live your life. No one else has to be accountable for your life. You have to make those decisions because it's your life. You get one shot, and you will regret it if you just people please in your decision making to make sure everybody's happy and they agree with your decisions. You're going to have to make decisions against most of the people around you to get to where you want to go if you have a big vision. I've just learned that, and I'm learning that in order to get to where I want and to fulfill the vision that's inside of me, I have to be able to not take advice of even the people closest to me sometimes. And again, that's no disrespect to them. I love everyone around me. I only even entertain the advice of the people around me that I love, right? Very few. There's a handful of people that I really respect their advice, but sometimes it's not the right advice for me, and I know it. And I'm working on knowing it more because I often have these people in my life that I'll just listen to them blindly because I love them and I respect them and I think they're very wise people. But I've realized even the wisest people in my life don't always know what's best for me because they don't have all the context and they can't see the vision. And that doesn't make them wrong. I am accountable to my own vision. I have to be the one to make those decisions. And I can't look back and blame other people if they gave me advice that I took that wasn't the right advice. That's my fault. I'm the ultimate decision maker, right? You're the ultimate decision maker. You have to bring the vision inside of you to life. You are responsible for that. God put a purpose and a calling in all of us. And if you know it and you feel it deep down inside, you have to block out the advice of 99% of people, even the people closest to you. And you have to bring that dream and that vision to fruition. If that's what God calls you to do, you have to be the one to make decisions, ignore advice, trust your gut, and be the one to bring that vision to life. That's your responsibility. That's my responsibility to bring this vision to life. And that's going to take some friction with the people around you who think they know what's best for you. And vice versa. Let me say this. You probably are giving advice to people that you love and that you want to do certain things that may not be the best advice for them, right? So it's a two-way street. Like I said, that again, it doesn't make anyone bad for giving you advice that you shouldn't take. I give people advice based on what I think they should do, and I know sometimes it's not the right advice for them. It's advice that I would take. It's what I would do, right? But I'm not them, so I can't be offended if they don't take the advice because it may not be the right advice for them. I'm going to try to give people the best advice that I have, like this guy yesterday. I tried to give him the best advice that I had. But even then, some of that may not be the right advice for him. And he has to decide that. And I won't be hurt if he doesn't take it all. That's totally fine. It's his life, and he knows better than I do what he should do, right? And I know better than anyone what I should do. That's not arrogant. That's not prideful. But no one knows better than me what the vision is. Therefore, I have to make the decisions for what is going to be best, what is going to be the best advice to take for the vision that I have. Me, I have it, right? No one else has your vision. Therefore, you have to make the best decisions for your vision. I'm fired up. So, anyways, hopefully that makes sense. Be willing to not take the advice of most of the people around you if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't align with what your vision is. And that's my thought. So, anyways, I hope that was helpful. I hope that gives you some freedom to realize, like, it's okay. If people get frustrated with you or disagree with you, they just don't know what's best for you because they don't know the vision. It's not that they're good. It's not that their intent isn't good. It is. Most people's intent is loving. They love you. But they just don't know what it's going to take to achieve your vision. So don't let them make the decisions for you because you want to please them. Make the decisions you need to. So in the end, they'll see it and go, oh, I get it. I get it. Right? So that's all I got. Let me know. Hit me up on social media. Let me know if I can help because I love chatting about this stuff as I'm learning it, as I'm implementing stuff, as I'm going through it. I want to be able to help you if I can. So let me know. Please share this with somebody you think it could be helpful with. And until next time, I'll be back next week with another episode. Adios.